These are the 5 key apps that I use in my cleaning business today. So what is an app and what does it do? So essentially, every single day you will be doing lots of manual repeated tasks if you don't use any software currently. And what the apps do is basically provide a way to automate these tasks using technology. And a broader theme about how you grow your cleaning business is, as a business owner, always trying to put yourself in a position where you're doing less of the day-to-day activity and working more on how you grow the business, more around the marketing strategies, recruitment strategies. And as you can, when you start moving away from the day-to-day running of your business, this is really when things will start to accelerate. So apps provide a great way using technology to remove yourself and free up your time of doing these repeated daily tasks. The alternative is obviously to hire people to do these tasks for you. Maybe you can get someone to chase your invoices, or maybe you can get someone to send daily reminder emails or messages to all your upcoming clients. But the issue that I find with obviously hiring people, these people, will probably have time off for sickness. Maybe some days they do a great job, some days they don't do as good a job. They need to take vacation. So generally what we find is if we can find technology to do these tasks for us, they will be A, more reliable, and B, cheaper ultimately than hiring a person to do it. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the 5 key apps that I use in my cleaning business today. And I recommend that you at least take a look at these or use similar apps in your business. So let's jump straight into it. So firstly is the scheduling software. So the scheduling software is absolutely critical. It sits within the middle of your cleaning business, and everything really revolves around what happens in your scheduling software. So what does the scheduling software do? Essentially, it's broken down into a few components. So first of all, it is essentially a glorified calendar. So every single day of the week, you will be able to see, which jobs you have in the calendar, which cleaners are doing those jobs. So this is a core part of what your scheduling software does. Obviously, there are other calendars, Google Calendar, that you have free calendars that you can use to do this. But really, as you start building your business, as you're getting multiple jobs a day and you have multiple cleaners a day, what you'll find is that using a Google Calendar quickly becomes unmanageable. So at the core of the scheduling software is the calendar. It obviously does all the things that Google Calendar would do. It's all tagged by cleaners, and you can click into the jobs and see what that client job requires and all that type of information. But there's some further additional parts to the scheduling software which makes it really powerful. So firstly, most of them will have some sort of automation built around it. So for example, the day before or a few hours before every single clean, you can send an automated email or an automated SMS, which will tell the client, you have this upcoming clean. And the reason why this is really important is that, for those of you that are starting out, you will find if you don't have this in place, you will get some clients that just simply forget that they have a clean booked. You send your cleaners, they knock the door, there's no one in. So this just prevents, all those sort of client no-shows happening. So this automation can happen in the background. Once a client has booked a particular time and a particular day, then they will automatically get a reminder email before the clean. And that just saves you time, saves you money from managing these client no-shows. On the other side, there's also, most of them have this follow-up automation in place. So after a clean has happened, you can send an automated email asking for feedback or asking for a rating. Again, you can do this by email and text message. And, the alternative is that you can set yourself a reminder to do this every day. You can manually send these messages out. And again, that is not a problem, but it's going to be taking you time. If it's not you as the business owner doing it, you have to get a VA or an office manager to do it. Or alternatively, you can use scheduling software with an automation follow-up in place, and you can just forget about it. So the automation around the scheduling software is really, really powerful. And then the third, and arguably I would say the most important thing is most of the technology today, most of the software today have some sort of payment processor integrated into it. Usually it's Stripe, but there are other payment software that you can use. And what the payment software does is basically, if you have a client that books service with you, you can take their credit card or card details over the phone. And then once the booking completes, the payment is automatically taken from that client's account. So again, it just removes a huge amount of hassle and time. Let's say you were being paid by cash by that client instead. Your cleaner would have to collect the cash, would have to check that the client had given you sufficient cash. Maybe they need to go and get some more cash out. The cleaner then needs to give you the cash as the business owner. You then need to deposit it, and there's all this time and effort going into tracking it. Whereas if you have, online payment processing software like a Stripe integrated, you obviously pay a fee, around 1 to 2% of the actual transaction amount, but it just saves you a huge amount of time and resource managing those payments. So the scheduling software is super important. It sits at the middle of your business. I would say generally you're going to be paying $100 plus a month, but certainly if you've got more than a couple of jobs a day, then I would certainly suggest getting this set up in your business sooner rather than later. There are lots and lots of different scheduling software out there. We use Launch 27, but there are others like ZenMaid and Booking Koala and Jobber. There are lots of other options out there. You can simply Google maid service scheduling software. And what I would recommend is that they all essentially do a similar thing, but they will all have a free trial associated with them. So sign up for the free trial, get a feel of how they work, and simply just go with that option that you think best fits you, which you think, is most usable for you, and get that set up in your business. That will be the best $100 that you will spend in your business, and it will just save you a huge amount of time. So the first critical app that I use in my cleaning business is the scheduling software. Number 2 is Google Apps. So as many of you will know, on my channel, I talk about Google an awful lot. And Google Apps is, again, a great piece of software, very low cost, or some of them are even free, some of the apps that you can use on Google. But basically, there are a few critical apps within Google that we use. So firstly is Google Mail. Something to say on email that I see an awful lot with startups is that they will use their own personal email address, let's say deborahjones@gmail.com or martyharris@hotmail.com. And really, we want to try and move away from that type of email as quickly as we can, because it shows, if you are comparing that with, say, hello@topcleaners.com or inquiries@maidservicecali.com, the second two look a lot more professional. It's a business name. It's not a personal account. It just looks a lot more professional. So we want to try and set up an email that is associated with our business. We obviously need to have a business name, a website, all that type of thing. And then you want to set up a business email. And you can do this for, I think, maybe $5 or $10 a month. It's very cheap, and you can use Google's Gmail userface to manage all your emails. But rather than being martyharris@gmail.com, it would be hello@topcleaners.com. So Google's Gmail app is critical. We use that across all the locations that we run in our cleaning business. And, it's very low cost. It might be $5 or $10 a month. Google's Gmail does a great job, got millions and millions of users all around the world. Both individuals as well as companies. So I would just go with that. Get your business email set up, and then you can actually buy that through the Google Domains platform, and then use Google's email app to manage all your inbox. You can obviously provide a username. You can share the password with your VAs and office managers, and they can log in wherever in the world that they're based. So Google Apps is super important for us, and Google Mail is like the core part of that. The second part of the Google's app suite that we use an awful lot, and I think is extremely helpful, and it's basically free, is Google Drive. So Google Drive is effectively Google's version of Microsoft Office. So you have spreadsheets on there, you have Word docs, you have PowerPoint presentations, but really the main thing that we use it for is the spreadsheet, so Google Sheets. And this is a great place to, for example, collect all your inquiries. If you have potential clients calling you up, you can enter their name, number, inquiry, did it close or not close? You can collect all your leads into one place. Maybe you're getting phone calls as well as online inquiries or messages. Again, you can put the messages in here. And again, similar to the Gmail, if you're using VAs or office managers, you can simply give them access to your account, and then they can actually log in and fill that out for you as well. So, rather than spending money on Microsoft Office, just use Google Drive. Again, very, very low cost. It's actually free up to a certain amount of usage. The reason why I really, really like Google Drive is that all you need is to have an internet access, and you can, as long as you can have internet access, you can simply log into your Google account, and anyone, anywhere in the world can log in. And this is great, obviously, when you have office managers and VAs logging in and running the business for you. So Google Drive is the other part. Google has lots of different other great apps. Google Analytics is a great resource for tracking all your website traffic, whether it's coming from SEO or Google Ads. Great free app. And as I've talked about an awful lot on my channel, Google Ads platform, Google LSA are great marketing platforms as well. Again, very easy to use and part of the Google apps. But really, in the day-to-day running of your business, Google Email and Google Drive two great pieces of software that you want to be using. App 3 is around telephone software. So telephone voice over IP in particular. And what voice over telephone VoIP is basically a internet telephone software that you can use, and essentially it turns your laptop or your desktop into a phone. If you log into, so we use Ring Central, Open Phone is another. There are lots of different internet telephone softwares out there. But basically, once you log in, essentially you have a desktop phone on your laptop. You can log in, you can make outbound calls, you can receive calls. You obviously connect your telephone software to the phone number, your main office number, and you can essentially receive and take calls through your laptop. You can use a headset, and it's essentially the same as having a landline phone or your mobile phone. But the reason why I like this, again, similar to Google Apps, is that say you have a business, your maid service is based in LA. You have a VA who started working with you, who's based in the Philippines. That person in the Philippines can receive and make outbound calls. If you are using a telephone voice over IP, they simply just need to use your login details. And if someone calls your California, based number for your LA-based maid service, because that person in the Philippines is logged into your Ring Central account, for example, they can simply receive calls and make outbound calls from that same number. So using telephone voice over IP or telephone internet software is a critical part of our business. You want to move away from using your mobile phone, your cell phone as your day-to-day communication, because let's say something happened to the phone and it stopped working, then you don't have any way for your clients to get in touch with you. Or let's say you decide that you don't want to be doing all the day-to-day inbox and client management. You want to get a VA. Well, actually, unless you can physically give the VA your mobile phone, your cell phone, there's no way for them to receive and make outbound calls. So telephone internet software helps you get around this problem. So again, great. There are lots of different options. You're probably going to be paying $20, $30 a month. Again, critical app that I use in my cleaning business today. So number 4 is Zapier. Zapier is, for those of you that don't know, is really taking that automation, that technology to the next level. As you know, I talk about software and technology an awful lot in my on my channel. But what Zapier does is basically it's a way for all your core software to talk to each other. It just takes your efficiency to the next level. So let's say, as I said, the first critical app, scheduling software, let's say we wanted, we wanted a way to get all our bookings into one spreadsheet. So we could look at how many bookings we got in a certain month, compare that with the previous month. For example, we could manually do this. We could log into our Lawrence 27. We could put up a Google sheet and then simply copy paste it into each row in your Google sheet. But a more efficient and more time effective way to do it is to use Zapier. So Zapier is basically a software that automates a trigger from one software. It says, if this action happens in software A, can we perform this action in software B? So for example, a new booking is created in our Lawrence 27 software, then duplicate that information in this row in our Google Sheet on that software. So, we can automate an awful lot of actions from one software to another, and it just takes the automation to a next level. Another example would be we get an inbound phone call and we've asked our VAs to log all the inbound calls into a spreadsheet. Again, what they could do is simply, ask for the details. When a call comes in, they could manually input all the details into the spreadsheet. They can look at the phone number and manually put it in. Or what you could do is create a Zap where the trigger would be every inbound phone call we get through Ring Central. We want to put the phone number and the duration of the phone number and any other details in this row in our Google Sheets. Again, this can be entirely automated using Zapier. So there are numerous things that we can do. Zapier provides integrations across thousands and thousands of apps. And, we're obviously talking about a handful of the key apps that we use in our cleaning business today. But in theory, it doesn't really matter what software you use. Most of the softwares will have some sort of Zapier integration for that. So if you think about your core apps, giving you a big jump up, that initial jump up in efficiency, Zapier takes it to the next level because it really helps the softwares to talk to each other. So it's a slightly more complex software. Obviously, as I would say, get your scheduling software in place, get your email software, get your telephone software in place. Once you've got your key components in place, then use Zapier to really take things to the next level. The fourth critical app that we use, the fourth critical software that we use in our cleaning business is Zapier. Number 5 is then CRM, so customer relationship management. So a CRM, for those of you that don't know, is basically a way for us to collect all our client, our client information in one place. So it could be clients that make an inquiry but that don't book, or clients that make an inquiry then do book. The reason why a CRM is super important is that you will find that the majority of people that make an inquiry with you don't close and don't become a client. So in my cleaning business, for every 3 leads, we only close 1 of those leads to a client, so a 33% close rate. So anywhere between 20% and 50% is pretty typical with the cleaning companies I work with. But what that says is the majority of those leads will not book service there and then. So why do we use a CRM software? So CRM is really effective because what you'll find is that when people make that initial inquiry, most of them will not book service there and then. But what we can do is use a CRM to follow up with that new lead. So, maybe we put in an initial call or we send an SMS and we don't hear back. Maybe in a week's time, we send them another SMS, or maybe in a month's time, they get our email newsletter. Or maybe in 3 months' time, we get a reminder to reinitiate contact with them. So this is the power of a CRM. So a CRM really takes any sort of manual reminders you'd need a list of all these leads. Let's set a reminder to contact this lead in a month's time if we've not heard back. What a CRM does is automates a lot of this process for you. So you can create automations and workflows, for example, that say, when that initial inquiry comes in, give them a call or send them a text message, and you can, say 48 hours later, if there's been no response, send them another email, maybe with a coupon code or maybe a link to all your great reviews. Again, if you don't hear back, maybe leave it a week and send them another email with some information about your insurance policy in your cleaning business, for example. So this is really the power of CRM. So, CRM allows you to squeeze further clients from your lead flow. So you've paid for these leads in one way or another. You've either paid for it through marketing, or you've had to spend the time, getting these leads in some way. So, what the CRM does is a structure, and it allows you to really follow up with these leads in the future, and you will close a percentage of those leads that otherwise you would have said had gone cold. So CRM, customer relationship management software, is super important. The one that I use in my cleaning business, we've used many softwares over the years, Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, but the one that we use today is called High Level. High Level is super efficient. It really is much better and far more cost effective than other CRM softwares that we've used in the past. So in this next video, I'll just give you a brief overview of how High Level works and why we find it just such a great software, and hopefully it'll give you a bit of background on how it works and how to use it in your cleaning business. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.